Hey, everybody, and welcome to season 2, episode 13 of Your Spiritual Best Friend. I am your host, Josh Sanchez, and usually I record a lot earlier, but this week has just been so busy for me that, I wanted to just have an awesome, wonderful Sunday night conversation for you guys as we get ready for the new week. So, for our topics for today's podcast, what we're going to get into, we are going to talk about gaslighting warning signs. So, we're going to talk about the different types of gaslighting and just some things for you guys to keep an eye on. Then, we're going to talk about the new moon in Cancer, which is going to be this week. Just some things to look at, what we might be feeling, stuff like that. And then we're going to wrap up with our weekly tarot card reading. So that's our agenda for today's podcast. And like always, guys, if you're a fan of the podcast, please like, rate, and subscribe, whether you're listening on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, all the above. All you have to do is search Your Spiritual Best Friend and I will pop right up. But without further ado, I figure we can get right into it and let's get started with our first topic. So I've been on the fence with, all right, like, what else can I bring to the table? Because I do want to start doing interviews again. But right now, because of just my summer schedule and I'm planning on going to Maine and there's a bunch of other stuff going on, that I'm really going to start interviewing people in the fall. So I was like, all right, like, what are some topics we can really get into for the rest of the summer? And gaslighting is something that I really wanted to talk to you guys about because this is something that happens very often, very frequently. And there's a lot of times that we're not even aware of what's going on. So, the whole point of this podcast is as you guys are listening, ask yourself, have I done these before? Have I had parents do this? Have I had friends, right? Because again, like when it comes to gaslighting, we're not aware of like what type it is. We just know that we shouldn't be doing it, right? So, we're going to talk about the different types of gaslighting, and these are just some things for you guys just to keep an eye on. So, the first one we have is denial. So, this is when the gaslighter tells the victim an event or a conversation did not happen or didn't happen the way that the victim remembers it. Some examples are like, I never said that, or this is not how it happened at all, stuff like that, right? So, denial is one of the most common types of gaslighting. Like this, again, literally, like what happens is when we are in the wrong, our body is naturally trying to protect us, right? So, one of the quickest things we can do is just deny that the event even happened. So if you guys know anyone that has denied a lot of events or, you know, does not take accountability, that is a form of gaslighting, right? And I should mention before I get into all these types, gaslighting is the type of manipulation that causes a person to doubt their own beliefs, sanity, or memory. Learning gaslighting warning signs, like we're talking about now, can help improve your resistance to this form of manipulation, right? So that's the whole point of gaslighting is to get the person to doubt their own beliefs or their own memory of certain things. So the first part we talked about is denial, right? This is where we deny the fact that the event or conversation happened at all, right? The second one we're going to talk about is distraction. So this is where the gaslighter interrupts the victim or tries to change the subject, right? So you guys could be addressing and talking about certain conflicts or issues that's going on. And this person will immediately try and change the subject to something else, right? So, like some examples, let's talk about this event that happened, or hey, let's go out and get something to eat, right? So distraction, the whole point of this is the gaslighter is trying to get you to change the topic, right? So that is distraction. The third one is ignoring or avoidance. And I'm going to do some podcast on avoidance in the future because it is a whole cycle and we all avoid things, whether we want to admit it or not. But ignoring or avoidance, this is when the gaslighter refuses to engage in conversation with the victim or address their own concerns, right? So you might go to them and be like, hey, like, I really want to talk about this issue, what's going on. And this person is just blatantly ignoring you or trying to avoid the conversation at hand, right? So they might turn the TV up, or they might leave the house hours later, right? Because they're avoiding the conversation, right? So that is ignoring or avoidance. The next one we're going to talk about is minimization or trivialization. I always struggle with that. This is when the gaslighter makes light of a serious situation or accusation, right? So this is where, oh, it wasn't a big deal, whatever, it was nothing. It's not a big deal at all, right? So they're trying to minimize what happened, right? But in reality, what is the importance, right? Being able to express and communicate your needs. And if you're trying to do that and someone is minimizing how you feel, that is a form of gaslighting, right? To try and change your beliefs about a certain situation. The next one we have is projection. So this is when the gaslighter accuses the victim of the very behavior in which they are engaging, right? So some examples of how this might look like, maybe you're the one who's hiding something. Well, I think you're lying to me, right? So projection is when we are already feeling something negative and now we take it out on someone else, right? So instead of being accountable for what we're doing, we are projecting our own insecurities, our own negative feelings onto the victim, right? So that is something for you guys to keep an eye on too. The next one we have is put downs. So put downs, this is when the gaslighter insults and degrades the victim so that they come to doubt themselves, right? So some examples could be, you're an idiot. You have no clue what you're saying. You sound real crazy when you talk like that, right? So a put down is anything to try and put you down. It's literally like self-explanatory, like put downs. They are trying to put you down and belittle you and trying again to twist your way of thinking, right? So that is put downs. This one is a very common form of gaslighting, I would say, especially for people that, I would say for the clients that I see a lot of, this is something that I see very common. No disrespect to parents out there. Hey, we try our best, but I do have a lot of clients say like put downs are very quick, right? So that's a put down. The next one we have is sabotage. So this is when the gaslighter undermines the victim in order to make them seem incompetent, right? So this is where the classic, someone might try and slash your tires, right? So let's say like you guys got into a heated argument, the person slashes the person's tires. That's sabotage, right? Because now the person can't drive and use their car to go to work or, to do what they need to do, right? So that is what sabotage is. So this is when the person, the gaslighter, is purposely doing things to try and ruin the person's life, right? So they might spam and blow their phone, right? They might say and do disrespectful things, right? So this is what they might damage property, right? So that's what sabotaging is. And the last type of gaslighting, warning sign for you guys to keep an eye on, is threats. So this is when the gaslighter threatens a negative outcome for not trusting them or their perspective. If you can't see things my way, this relationship is over, right? Or it can literally be like a threat, like if you do not give me X, I am going to do this, right? So threats are meant to promote fear, right? To change how you're thinking, right? Obviously, you're not getting treated the way that you deserve to be treated because the person is threatening you, right? But in the heat of the moment, the threats can be used as a way as like fear, right? So that way the gaslighter gets what they want. So those are all the types of gaslighting warning signs that I want you guys just to keep an eye on. So we got denial, we got distraction, we got ignoring or avoidance, we got minimization, we got projection, we got put downs, sabotage, and threats. And again, I can put this link in the show description. So that way, if you guys need to come back to it or need a reference, because it's very important. Because again, the whole point of gaslighting, it's a form of manipulation to try and change and get you in your own head, get you doubting how you're being treated, right? So, and especially people that are very good manipulators, they will be very good at gaslighting, whether that's putting you down, denying things that have happened, right? Using threats, trying to sabotage, right? So just be aware of some of these terms that I'm bringing up. And I want you guys to think, as I was describing this topic, before we move to the next topic, I want you guys to think of, has any of these happened to you, right? Have you been the gaslighter, or have you been manipulated, right? There's probably been times where there's been both, especially if, like you come from backgrounds where there's been a lot of manipulation. Perfect example for a lot of men, right? Like when it comes to expressing their emotions, they're immediately put down, right? This is just a generic example, right? If you're a guy and you express how you feel and you cry, oh man, put down, you're weak, right? You're not tough, right? That's a put down, right? And it's making you change how you think. That's just a little generic example. But those are the gaslighting warning signs, some things for you guys to keep an eye on. And yeah, I love this topic. So I love gaslighting and stuff like that too, and putting labels on the things. So now we're going to transition quickly to our second topic. So first we started with gaslighting. Now we're going to talk a little bit about the new moon in Cancer, because it's going to take place on July 5th. So literally right after 4th of July, the new moon is going to be in Cancer. We are in Cancer season. So like I always say, with new moons, it could feel like a double abundance of energy, right? Because now the sun and the moon are in the same sign, in the same planet, right? And what makes this new moon different than others is Cancer is ruled by the moon, right? So the moon is all about caretaking, nurturing, emotional, feminine energy, right? We all have it, masculine and feminine energy. Now that the new moon is going to be in Cancer in its most comfortable spot, we are going to feel way more emotional than we normally do. You might have already started to feel that way. I know for me, I have. I've really had to embrace this new side of me and being more vulnerable and being more open, because that's what Cancer energy brings, right? It's this universal motherly type of energy. So this week, just expect to feel more. We might feel more sensitive. We might feel more creative, or wanting to tap into our intuition or our carefree caretaking side, right? So that's what the new moon is going to bring in Cancer. And that's just something I want you guys just to keep an eye on, is, just your overall emotional health. How have you been feeling, right? I would say this is a really good opportunity to journal. Definitely do like a mood journal. So like rate how you feel in the beginning of the day versus at the end, and see like what changed or what caused it. Because again, like the more we get in tune with our emotions, the more, I would say, the more connected we feel with ourselves. So for this new moon, that's something for you guys to really keep an eye on. So mark your calendars, July 5th, and you guys might be already feeling the energy now. It's way different from the full moon, which was last week, and the solstice and stuff like that, because you see the moon bright and out and open, right? Versus with the new moon, it's going to be more dark, right? It's going to be more hidden. And that Cancer energy is all about security, emotional maturity, emotional intelligence, right? Taking care of yourself. So prioritizing self-care could also be another priority. And that's going to be a good self-reflection question for you as well. Like, how has your self-care been? Not just physical self-care, but your emotional self-care, your spiritual self-care, your social self-care. Like, do you feel like we can express ourselves socially, right? So there's way more types of self-care than just showering and exercising. There's so many different types. And this is the energy that this new moon is going to bring for you guys, right? So that's the new moon in Cancer. I just wanted to share a brief little topic on that. And those are some gaslighting strategies that I wanted to bring to the podcast, right? So what we're going to do now is I'm going to pull 5 cards for my tarot reading, since I believe that the new moon's coming in and there's an abundance of Cancer energy. I really want to help you guys out with, again, just some energy that you guys and myself should be expecting for the upcoming week. So first, I want to give credit to my ancestors. Again, I've been taking some time for me, and I'll give you guys a little life update towards the end of the podcast on what's been going on. But my question for you guys and for myself and for my ancestors is, what should I expect for the upcoming week, new moon in Cancer, and what are some things we might learn? Wow, they want to talk today. So I got 3 cards already. Got 2 more left. 2 and 1. All right, I usually do 3, but for the solstice, I did 5, and I really feel like I should do 5 for this podcast too. So here we go. Let's see what we got here. This card continues to show up, so this is very interesting. Okay, so we got that. Okay. All right, so the first card we got is the Ace of Pentacles. So I don't know if you guys can see this good. I know my light is very bright this evening. So the Ace of Pentacles. Pentacles is earth energy. So that way, just to give you guys a little element. So Ace of Pentacles. New beginnings, prosperity, abundance. If the Ace of Pentacles is a part of your reading, you're in luck. Many people think of the Ace of Pentacles as a lottery card. However, its essence is much more than that, representing both good fortune and new beginnings. This card tells that now is the time to move forward with your plans and ambitions. Whether it be money, love, health, or your career, you can have what you desire. Keep in mind, though, the Ace of Pentacles is also a card of groundedness and stability. So just like any seed that you receive, you must water and nurture your gift. When this card arrives, prepare to walk the path to success that is presenting itself. So I would say with this first card, last week we talked about how there's a big shift, right? There's like this, we might be feeling the urge to try something new. What this card is saying, that new beginnings are going to prosper, right? But we got to make sure that whatever we do that's new is going to be in a grounded way, right? We're not just going in, jumping full force, right? We got to make sure we're grounded and secure while doing it. So very encouraging first card. Second card we got is the 3 of Cups. So Cups is water energy, right? And this makes sense because of the new moon, right? Cancer is, we're going to have a lot of water energy. What this card is saying, and if you guys can see, there's 3 people, and it looks like they're celebrating. So celebrations, good conversation, happiness. So there is a saying in New Orleans, I'm not going to pronounce that. The 3 of Cups tarot card is the perfect representation, as it symbolizes the cause for celebration and reunions. Whether it be a wedding, a family reunion, a baby shower, or another similar event, when this card appears, a party is soon to ensure. 3 is also the number of creation, so the 3 of Cups can indicate a creative period. During this period, new ideas will come to life and will be well received by others. Overall, this card foresees good times to come, and a cause for celebration is in your future. No matter what, this victory is just sure reason to get excited. So I know for me, I'm going to go to Maine next week. Literally on Friday, I will be on my way to Maine, and I'm going to spend time with my dad and stuff. So I think this card, for me at least, is saying like good times are coming. But for your guys' life, think about reunions, whether that's with a friend, family member, right? You might be feeling that urge, right? Or feel like, oh, something is going to happen, right? So that's what the 3 of cards is going to say, and it's going to be a good time. The next one we have is the 4 of Pentacles. So as you guys can see, it's this person sitting in a chair, and it looks like they are unsatisfied with whatever. So greed, materialism, security. If you have heard the story of King Midas, then you know the dangers of allowing one's desire for the material world to take over. The 4 of Pentacles brings a similar message, one that highlights the dark issues we as humans have with materialism and control. Although sometimes this card can signify the need for financial security, it often accompanies a sense of ungratefulness and a need to possess much more than what is needed. If your quest for material success and control has caused you to isolate from family and friends, do the means really justify the ends? You can have security without having to be financially focused all the time. Consider working towards a balanced life where one aspect isn't more important than the other. So I would say with this card, again, it goes back to the Ace of Pentacles, right? All about balance, right? So making sure that you guys are giving yourselves the time and the space, right, to have that balance between friends, family, and also work, right? We live in a very, I would say America is ruled by capitalism, right? So it's very money, productivity driven, right? And at times, because of that, we lose focus on the things that might bring us joy outside of the workplace, right? So what this card is saying is we got to find a balance with that, right? Are we focused too much on the money, right? Are we being ungrateful with the things that have been given to us, right? So I would say during this new moon, also practice a little bit of gratitude too, like just some things that regardless, even when bad things happen, there's some silver linings. There's things that we're learning through this, right? So practicing gratitude can really help during this time period too. So we got two more cards left. The next one we have is the Five of Wands. So as you guys can see, what you guys see here is you have a bunch of people. They're all crowded up and they're all holding wands. It looks like there's going to be some sort of battle, right? So the Five of Wands. Competition, disagreements, clashing of egos. The Five of Wands symbolizes passionate struggles and fiery conflicts. When this card appears in a reading, it calls attention to disharmony in your life. You may be engaged in a mental or physical warfare with those around you that brings up feelings of contempt and anger, all of those involved in the fighting. If this resonates with you, you must dig deep within to find a way to bring peace once again to your inner circle. It is important to remember that constant arguing doesn't solve problems, but rather it only adds anxiety and discord to your life and to the lives of the people you care about. If you hope to gain freedom from the chaos in your life, you are the one that needs to extend an olive branch. Now is the time to swallow your pride and use your communication skills to find the root cause of the fighting and to overcome it once and for all. So I would say with this card, right? We all have conflicts with people in our lives, whether that's family, friends, stuff like that, right? But what this card is saying is instead of pouring more gasoline into an open fire, let's try and figure out what is the root of the issue, right? Let's get right to it. And that's what this new moon is going to bring. It brings that clarity, right? It brings in, okay, like, oh, this is what is causing all of this stress, right? This is what I need emotionally to feel fulfilled, right? So by coming in, getting right to the root of the problem can really help with the clashing of egos. Because that's one thing we don't want. We don't want to pile on a situation that is already stressful. That makes us want to avoid things even more, right? So by getting to the root of the problem can really help resolve some of the conflicts we are going through. And the last card, this card also came up on the summer solstice reading, and it's one of my favorite cards in the deck, is the Chariot. The reason why I love the Chariot is because I feel like it resonates with me so much. It's all about direction, willpower, determination, and success. Are you ready to master your emotions and take the reins when it comes to your own life? The Chariot tells you that now is the time to get what you want. Consider this card as a sign of encouragement. The Chariot is all about overcoming obstacles and achieving your goal through determination, focus, and willpower. You will feel motivated, ambitious, and in control. This will help get a stagnant situation moving again and overcome all the challenges that may be on your path. Just stay focused and believe in your abilities. You will achieve your goal. A triumph is waiting for you, and you are in completely control of making it happen. So the reason why I like this card is it's all about resilience, right? It's all about overcoming obstacles, and it's all about gaining your sense of confidence back, right? I know for me personally, and I'll talk about this a little bit on my life updates part as we wrap up this podcast, but I know for me at least, the Chariot has been representing in regards to this new direction I'm taking, right? I'm finding my new confidence, like I'm ready to go and take the next steps. So I want you guys to think for yourself, right? Like, What are some obstacles that you guys had to overcome? I know this year has been pretty rough for a lot of us. So, what are some of the obstacles we've had to overcome? What are some of the things we had to embrace and learn from? Right? Because now we are evolving as new people from those challenges, right? So, that's what the chariot is saying. A triumph is waiting. It's just more of trying to find and build that confidence, which we can get. So, that is our reading for this week for the new moon coming up. So, we got new beginnings, we got celebrations, we got greed and being financially focused. We have clashing of egos, but then we end the reading with overcoming obstacles and evolving and building that sense of confidence. So overall, really good, solid reading. And it makes sense with the new moon because it's time for reflection, right? What of the things we've been doing this past month, right? Or how has our life been these past couple months, right? This is our chance to be like, all right, how do I want the rest of my summer to be? What do I want that to look like, right? Because now we're in the heat of it. We're right in the middle, right? So that's just something for you guys just to, keep an eye on. So to wrap up this podcast, we talked about gaslighting. We talked a little bit about the new moon, and we did our weekly tarot card reading. I figured for the last 5 minutes or the last couple minutes of this podcast, I wanted to just share just some personal updates and also offer an opportunity for people listening to this podcast and people that, have known me very good. I am open to, I started this weekend. I did my first hike. And I mean, I hiked when I was younger, but like this was like my first like legit hike where I went by myself. I challenged myself because at first I had a couple people wanted to come with. They ended up being busy. It's okay. Like it's nothing personal. So I challenged myself. I was like, you know what? Like I'm going to go by myself and I'm going to explore and go on an adventure. And I come out of this weekend feeling very proud of myself for doing that. Like I challenged myself. I took a step out of my comfort zone. I hiked 5 miles by myself all through Elk Creek State Park. It was beautiful. I climbed a cliff. I didn't climb like rocks and stuff, but like I climbed up to the cliff. I took pictures of the Chesapeake Bay. It was really nice. So I am now on this hiking kick. And I have a bunch of people already reach out to me saying like, yo, when's the next one? Like, let's go. Like, so I'm ready to start building a community. If you guys want to go on hikes with me, more than welcome to. I'm keeping my doors open. It would be exciting. I'm someone that is pretty fun to travel with. I'm not gonna lie. But yeah, so I'm going to Maine this week, and me and my dad and my brother are gonna probably go on some hikes, which is gonna be exciting. But when I come back, my door will be open for weekends and going on hikes. So if you guys are interested in going on hikes with me, let me know. Again, don't be a stranger. I'm challenging myself to be more social and to be more open with people. It's really helped me this month of June. I'm not going to lie. I went to the Italian festival. I went to all of these events and it's been so much fun. So it's like I'm challenging myself to continue to be social. So if you're looking for a good time, good hikes, going out to eat after, chilling, relaxing, connecting with nature, let me know because I got my hiking boots, I got my backpack, I got my water containers, I got my water inside my backpack, I got my first aid kit. Like I am ready. I am fully prepared. So if anybody else is interested in tagging along, don't be a stranger. Reach out. We can plan something and have some fun. There's a lot of great trails around here that I'm going to start exploring and seeing and yeah, like embracing this new chapter. So the reason why I bring up this experience is I want you guys to think about your own life, like have you guys been wanting to push the change or think about areas where you want to improve on your life, right? I don't know about you, but this past month has been really pushing me to do that. And if you guys relate to anything I've been saying, because again, we're all energies in this universe, I want you to think about what has been pushing you to change, whether that's a relationship or a new job, right? Or a new opportunity, right? I just want to get you guys thinking about that. Like, okay, like how can I improve? What do I need to feel more fulfilled? And I'm not gonna lie, like going in that hike and seeing birds and seeing animals, like I have some paranoia involving bugs. I had a very bad experience when I was 8. I got left at the bus stop. I ended up having 12 ticks on me. So like when it comes to walking in tall grass and stuff, like I get very nervous. I put bug spray all over my clothes, all over me. Like I made sure I was prepared. But I'm not gonna lie, like crossing that first field of tall grass, I was like, oh God. I was like, I'm so nervous. But once I got past it, I was like, man, I am ready. So like challenge yourself to do things that you wouldn't normally do. Challenge yourself. You'll be surprised. Like I always tell people, it's better to go and try something. And if you don't like it, you already know, versus staying at home and not trying it. Right. Because then you're in your head like, I should have done this. I should have done that. So because I did that hike, I'm ready to do more and I'm ready to embrace this new chapter, right? I've been thinking about it for years and I'm finally like, yes, like this is awesome. So if you guys want to go hikes with me, let me know. If you guys are interested in anything like that, I'm here to help, whether that's astrology, tarot, stuff like that. I've been doing this for a while and this is what I'm meant to do. So I hope you guys enjoyed this podcast. I didn't want to make it longer because I know my past couple have been around like 40 minutes. But I hope you guys enjoyed the wonderful conversations. Let me know how you guys feel about the gaslighting warning signs I mentioned as well. And also, too, make sure you guys are taking care of your emotional health during this new moon, which will take place July 5th. Have a wonderful holiday. I'll try and make sure that I can record one more podcast before I go to Maine next week. But you guys can stay tuned for that. But I hope you guys have a good rest of your week. Good luck. Have a wonderful holiday. And this is Josh officially signing off.